world smothered it, taught me to cover it up, eventually became ashamed to be naked.
Welcome to my new web show. Yay! Audio working, camera working, and we've got, looks like 11 people logged in so far, so that's pretty awesome. Well, I just wanted to start out the talk show with the topic of the week, which is time. And I don't know if y'all had a chance to read my blog entry. If not, let me put this, I'll put this URL out there for you. Basically, this show is all about how to change your life, and one of the quickest ways to start becoming aware of potential areas of change is to question your reality. If you just take things for granted, then it's kind of hard to really make changes, right? And I'll get to your questions and comments a little bit later. Basically, the topic this week is time. So time is something that we all live with. We're all used to, having clocks on the wall, on our wrists, on our phones, on our computers, whatever we're using. And it's kind of something that we just take for granted, but time itself is very undefinable. It's not something that exists in the physical world. So basically, we have developed all these systems of keeping track of time. Now, most of the world is on a universal clock, which is 24 hours, which allows us to, have topic, conversations with each other using computers. However, we still have all these different time zones, which makes it really difficult and confusing if you want to, say, make an appointment with somebody in India when you live in the United States. It's hard and complicated to figure out the different time zones. So the premise of my blog post this week was, why don't we just go to one world time and all use the exact same 24 hours at the exact same moment. So I would say it's 10:05 here, and it's also 10:05 there, wherever you are, anywhere in the world. So then I would say, well, I sleep from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., which is my normal schedule, by the way. And you might say, well, I sleep from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. and I work from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. or whatever. So it would make it a lot easier to coordinate, and since time is just imaginary anyway, why not? We're used to coordinating our hours with the cycle of day and night, but even then, that cycle changes so much throughout the year that it's very rare that any arbitrary time actually falls on the sunrise or the sunset anyway. I mean, we can say, well, in Arizona in the summer it gets light out around 4 a.m. In the wintertime it gets light out around sometimes 7:30, 8. So anyway, that's my proposition for today, is to go to one world time. And I'm going to lean forward here so I can read the chat window. Any questions or any comments? Cajun 1950 said if we had one world time, it would mean companies to adjust time for their workforce and shift times. They already do that anyway. I mean, not all companies go to work on the same time. Some companies have 24-hour shifts anyway. What do I think would be the default time zone? Probably GMT, just because it already kind of is. Like, I know somebody one of the people on my newsletter wrote me earlier. Good night. He's in the Navy, and when they go on a submarine, once they submerge, they go to GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. So I think it's probably standard already for certain things, so it'd probably be the standard. Yes, a lot of we do use GMT, but like my time zone now is GMT -7. So if we got rid of the time zone, it would just be 10 o'clock everywhere around the globe. The question is, do you have internal time within you? And yeah, I have a pretty good internal time meter as far as, if I want to go to sleep and make sure I wake up at a certain time, I can just look at the clock and say, okay, it's 6 a.m. now, I want to wake up at 1 p.m. And so that internal calculator does keep track, and it is able to wake me up. Do I function better earlier in the morning or late at night? Personally, I'm a night owl, so I like to be up all night, and I sleep about 6 a.m. to around 2 p.m. every day. That time varies a little bit. Basically, sometimes I stay up later, sometimes I go to bed earlier, but that's pretty much my normal schedule. I can, if I have to, I can do the day thing and get up in the daytime and go to sleep at night, but I prefer being awake at night. What type of problems do I work on in Phoenix? Pretty much anything and everything. I mean, I've had clients come to me for all sorts of things, from getting rid of phobias to getting rid of stress, anger management, any kind of emotional issues. I'm really good at settling those out. Relationship, business, time management. I pretty much do it all. I teach a set of 10 principles, which if you go to my website, I have my books that I published are on the right hand side, and so I teach a set of 10 principles that I believe are useful in creating our own reality, and those can be pretty much applied to anything. I haven't come across anything that I wasn't able to apply them to. And in addition to that, I also teach and practice neuro-linguistic programming, which is very helpful. And I teach communication skills, which unfortunately most people are not taught in school. So those are probably the most valuable skills you can have in any life endeavor, whether it's relationships or business. Do I teach Tantra? No, I don't teach Tantra. I've learned a little bit of Tantra. However, basically, I believe that everything is one energy, and Tantra teaches along the same lines that there's we're all connected with this energy. It's just, I think that it's useful to teach these concepts in our native language of English. And Tantra, I think the main thing is it injects all these other foreign words that you have to learn in order to understand this stuff. So basically, I think the principles are the same. I just use English only. Chris Hayes is asking, how do you deal with stress? Do I have an example? Well, it really varies person to person. But generally, I find out what the person is, how they are feeling stress, where it is in their body, what they're doing mentally, and I help them reprogram that so that it doesn't, so that they don't feel it the same way anymore or have the same reaction. So it really varies person to person. How does being nude help in my practice? Well, basically, everything I teach is geared around the concept that we control our own reality, that we create our own reality, and there's so much societal control paradigms built around the concepts of nudity. So I think being naked helps people shed some of their inhibitions, shed some of their societal programming, get past the barriers that are holding you back. It's a metaphor, and it's also very effective at demonstrating immediately that change can be easy and not painful and effective. I don't consider myself a nudist. I consider myself a freedomist. So I enjoy having the freedom of choice. I like to dress up and go out. So I don't. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this camera where I can read the screen and you guys can still see me pretty good. I like to dress up and go out. I really enjoy clothing. However, I do like to have the freedom to choose to be naked. So I go to parties and events and stuff where nudity is okay. I have not been to Mira Vista. I've been up to Shangri-La, which is the other nudist resort here near Phoenix. So, why the tattoos? Well, I got these when I was 18. I worked for a tattoo artist, and I've always loved ivy, so I got the ivy band. And then I saw a piece of flash art that somebody had brought in, which was this moth with a tiger's face. It's kind of hard to see on the camera here, but I just really liked it. I've always loved butterflies. They're transformative creatures, so they literally transform from this little caterpillar that inches along the ground to something that can fly, which is amazing. So I've always loved butterflies and moths, and I like moths because I'm a night owl and they're up or flying around during the night. And then I like the tiger's face in it, so it's kind of like the night creature with the hidden tiger within. My hair is not naturally red, but it's my preferred color, and it's been that color more than half of my life so far. And let's see. What is my concept of sex and love by being naked? Well, I think there's something important that our cultures, in many cultures around the world, kind of miss the point. They equate nudity with sex, and both are bad, right? Both are wrong or sinful or unacceptable behavior in public or whatever. I think that we kind of have this weird societal thing, at least in America, and I'm sure it's that way in many areas of the world, although not all, where it's okay to see a live gang shootout on the 6 o'clock news, but it's unacceptable if somebody's boob pops out of the Super Bowl, if you remember Janet Jackson. So that was, it's just weird and upside down and backwards about our culture. For those of you out there who are not familiar with me, I've been life coaching in Phoenix for about a little over 3.5 years now. Well, nudity is nudity. It's just simply being without clothing. Nudity doesn't mean you have to have sex. I mean, you get naked to sleep, maybe. You get naked to bathe. So, nudity is, babies are born naked. there's not anything, I mean, not to say that nudity isn't good for sex, but it's not required for sex. I mean, you can have sex when you have clothing on, and it's not required that you have sex to be naked. So that's how I separate the two. My home sessions, well, I do offer Skype sessions worldwide. So for like Sunny, you said you wish I was close to your city. I do Skype sessions. I'm available Wednesdays and Thursdays, and you can book online through my website at www.thenakedlifecoach.com/RSVP. I'll put that in here. No, that's my only job is doing life coaching and writing, and also putting together events. But it's all part of the same business. Well, this is actually my very first time doing a cam show, so I appreciate the company. It's kind of a different thing for me since I have to read and see what people are saying and then respond. But it's a good thing that you guys can all see the conversation at the same time. My rates for in-person sessions start at $249.95 an hour. I also offer packages. So depending on depending on the person's goals. In group sessions, basically in group sessions, we all come in, sit down. I do have a pre-session orientation video now for people to watch before they come, so they can get a grounding in the 10 principles I teach. And then basically I go around the room and ask what everybody wants to work on that week, and then I divide the time up based on how many people are there. So if there's 5 people there and we have an hour and 45 minutes, I divide the time up evenly, and each person gets that amount of time, and then we go around the group and focus on what each person wants to work on that week. Right now my groups are only in Arizona. I could actually kind of use this, I could use this webcam thing to start doing a worldwide group. I don't know how that would work out time-wise, if we'd be able to get to everybody, but maybe that could be divided up by topic rather than by person. So I generally find there's 5 things that people want to work on, and that is their relationships or lack thereof, if they don't have one, their career, or money situations, health is a big one, and I do teach that we all can heal ourselves naturally, that it's possible no matter what it is. And there's countless examples, of people out there. Like, if you guys ever heard of the Miracle Man, he was told he'd never walk again, he'd never be able to breathe on his own again, but he made up his mind to heal from that, and he did. So it's amazing what we're able to accomplish. So relationships, wealth, health, time, and other enlightenment kind of things, like learning how to meditate or emotional management, that kind of stuff. Oh, really? I didn't know you could do 2-way cams in groups. That would be pretty cool. I personally don't practice any kind of exercise. There is a lady that I know here in Phoenix that does nude yoga, and actually another one of my clients in LA runs a nude yoga practice. I think that, again, I teach mind over matter, so I don't believe any form of physical exercise is necessary to keep a healthy body, but if you enjoy the activity, then go for it. some people really like working out with weights or running or swimming or whatever it is. Personally, my favorite form of physical activity is dancing. So if I want to go out and move around, then I like to dance. But yoga is pretty interesting. I've done it before. It's just not something that I do like on a regular basis or anything. Any other questions? Oh wow. Yeah, it is pretty warm in Louisiana. If a man becomes erect in my sessions, look, it's a natural bodily function. I'm not going to freak out. And I also will say that it's not going to get our attention either. That's not what my sessions are about. So, it's non-sexual nudity. Hey, erections happen. It's just like, sometimes my nipples get hard, whatever. It's a natural function. The group sessions are $25 per person. And will I continue the Wednesday cams? Well, I'm planning on it. By the way, if you guys are enjoying the show and the conversation, feel free to tip. It's not required, but I do appreciate the support. So, what else do you guys want to talk about? How to clean your mind by being naked? Well, for me, I gotta say, when my mind first got opened, I guess, to the ideas that there were other ways. Well, first off, I'll just say I was raised Seventh-day Adventist, so my parents were pretty strict, religious, conservative, and basically you're expected to grow up and get married and have kids and do that whole family thing, like, I don't know, be fruitful and multiply. So, but when I was 10 years old, I read a book by Robert Heinlein called Friday, and I don't know if any of you all have read that book, but it's basically it's a sci-fi story, and Heinlein's sci-fi is more sociological than technical. I mean, the technology's there, but it's more around what culture change would be like, and a lot of his themes were about the acceptance of sexuality and the acceptance of bodies, the acceptance of nudity. So I got that kind of indoctrination at a very young age. If you've never been naked with another person aside from having sex, if you've never been, I don't know, getting naked and talking about philosophy is one of my favorite things. It just brings a level of trust and acceptance and honesty and kind of discarding of social stigmas, social barriers, social concepts and constructs. So that's why I think it's a valid therapeutic tool. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm not a nudist. I don't feel like I've got to be naked. I enjoy just having the freedom to choose. If I want to be naked, it's okay. Does that make sense? I've actually, as far as abuse goes, I've had a few clients that I helped overcome past abuse and trauma from that, and it's actually a fairly simple process. It's definitely something I can help you with on a one-on-one session. It does require a little back and forth, and we can't really do it with just texting. So I need to be able to talk to you and get, questions and answers and walk you through some steps. Am I a doctor? No, I'm not a doctor. I am a life coach, and I actually have a lot of different areas of expertise that I've kind of combined into this business, but I'm not a medical doctor, if that's what you're asking me. I'm not a psychiatrist either. I'm a life coach. Am I an old soul? Well, I think that everything is one energy, so my soul being part of that one energy is as old as the universe itself. My direct email address, it's probably best if you use the contact form on my website, so I'll put that in for you here. Thanks. Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Yep, same time next week, 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Alright, y'all, I'm going to sign off for now. Thanks for joining me. And last question answered. If you're asking me how old I am, I'm 37. So hopefully I'll see you next Wednesday at 10. Good night. Have a great evening.
'Cause I'm losing all doubt and fear when I'm with you.